Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. So since the last episode, I did spend a bit of time working down the blood magic area a bit more. We're going to get into that next episode. I have a bit more stuff to set up down there. We're going to be working in there a little bit next episode, part of the episode. And then also, okay, I spent a few hours prepping. This was painful, I'll go ahead and say. I prepped all this stuff here. And this is what we're going to be needing for today's work. We're going to be setting up the first power system, the smaller of the two. The other one will be setting up a bit, it'll be a bit later on. I mean, honestly, the power that we're going to be generating with this setup is going to be enough to carry us up through, early age 5, I think. And then we tap on that other system. We're going to go ahead and tap on that other system in age 3, and we're going to have enough power for a long while. A very, very long while, I do believe. I guess it depends on how extensive we go with stuff, but it'll be a lot of power. And last episode, we set up this over here, and I actually added 2 more cloches. And then I brought these fluid pipes around because it just seems like having just a single output routing node seems to be best. So, yeah. It seems to work nicely. A lot better, because whenever I had 2, one of them would lock up, it seemed like. So then I just brought this around and it seems to be working great. It hasn't had any issues since. And then I set up these other 2 cloches just to bring it up to the fluid pipe edge. Over here, this didn't take very long at all, by the way. It pretty much ran while I was asleep. And we have 512 stacks of potatoes, 512 stacks of hemp seeds, and 1,063 industrial hemp fiber. We actually had 11, what was it? No, it wasn't quite, it was close to 1,100 stacks, but I used quite a bit of it on sealing materials. So, and then I have more sealing materials right here. So yeah, 68,000 industrial hemp fiber, and then 32,000 of all this other stuff. Also over here, one little side note that I wanted to point out. I had to add a timer right here. And this timer is just set to 600 ticks, that's 30 seconds. And basically what it does is it updates the redstone whenever it activates. Because what was happening is this thing... Is it running right now? No, okay. Basically what was happening is whenever I would log off or something like that, or even when it was just sitting here when I was logged on, the tank doesn't accurately update the redstone sometimes. Sometimes, not always. But sometimes it'll just kind of like bug out and stop updating redstone. The comparator will just, stay at 0, or it'll stay at 10, or it'll stay at whatever, it's at the time that it locks up. And it's due to, I don't know, I think it's this, and basically the redstone just needs like a block update kind of a thing. So I've just got the timer here, 30 seconds. That way it doesn't really affect this while it's running. And then it updates the comparator, and then it updates everything. But other than that, the system's been perfect. It's been great. And the speed of it's great. It fills up the tank so fast. Like if I have the tank empty, like I tested it and let it almost empty, and then I turned it back on, and it was filled in like no time. It's like no time flat. It was done. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into our power system. I did go ahead and set up 3 tanks right over here. So these are for 3 of the liquids that we're going to be creating. And then I went ahead and set up 2 industrial squeezers here. We've built these machines before, and so I figured I'd go ahead and just get those built out. Of course, we have one over here. This one's the one that we use for making the, what's it called? What is that called? HOP graphite? Yeah, HOP graphite. This is our HOP graphite squeezer. This is going to be our automated squeezers, because we really don't want to use these for manual processes, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this. And we're going to go ahead first, I think, and plug up the power and the items to the industrial squeezers and start actually producing that liquid, which squeezers produce, is it ethanol? Or no, it's seed oil, isn't it? Yeah, fermenters are ethanol, seed oil is squeezer. Alright, so let's get our relays, our wire connectors, our MV wire coil. My goal is, I think I'm going to try to run the squeezers, the fermenters, the refineries off of our MV power that's automatic without having to touch our HV power. That would be ideal. Once I get plugged up, if I do find that we're consuming too much power off of the passive system. I mean, I can always upgrade that power, but I think what I'll probably do is just change it over to HV if that becomes an issue. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be an issue. But one thing I want to touch on real quick, unless it's been drastically changed since 1.11 was the last time I actually set one of these up in a test world. Unless it's been drastically changed or the pack has drastically changed it, basically when you're setting up the system, you know, you have the fermenters, the squeezers, they feed into Refinery, makes biodiesel, and it goes into the engines. Now, generally, one squeezer, one fermenter, one refinery can run 2 engines. So I've got space and I've got materials for setting up 4 of these. Originally, I was only planning on setting up 1 or 2 engines when we first did this, and then just add the other 2 later on. But because honestly, 4 at this stage is going to be just complete crazy overkill. But I figured we'd go ahead and set up all 4, and I had the steel, not much extra steel. I have 38 extra steel, and I had almost 10 stacks of steel. And whenever I started prepping for this episode, it was horrible. It was actually really, really bad. Like, this right here hurt. This was painful to craft, 56 of these? It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Also, the HV capacitor's pretty bad. So anyways, let's go ahead and plug this up. We'll plug up the power first. This is fairly straightforward. MV wire connectors go here and right here, and then we're going to run it over with a relay. And I'm going to put the relay setting, let's see, if I put it right there, I want to see how these cables are going to hang. Actually, that's not bad, because as long as it's like above us, that's good. Yeah. Plus, we're really not going to be walking in this area in truth. I mean, it's just an automation area. And then we're going to run this over, and I'm going to do a few of these so it doesn't hang too low. Just for looks. And then we'll do one right over to there, and then we'll do one right there. And, I mean, that's plugged up. I love these wires hanging around everywhere. These have energy. Yes. By the way, I did make some powered lanterns, and I was trying to plug those up. Those do not seem to work. They don't. Like, I plugged them up first. I tried MV, because in the book it used to be, it had to be LV. Like in Farming Valley in 1.10, had to be LV. In the book it didn't specify LV, so I tried MV. Didn't work. Then I tried plugging it up to our LV lines that are over there near the water wheels. Still didn't work. So, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe they're bugged. I'm not for sure. So, I'm going to play around with them a bit more extensively in a test world, but as of right now, I can't get them to work, so. Okay, so now that we've got that in place, we are going to be using, to move the items, we're going to use transfer nodes from Blood Magic, of course. And I'm going to make a new system. We're going to have a master input output. We're going to put an input setting on the potatoes and an input setting on the industrial hemp seeds. And the squeezer is for, I want to double check this. I believe it's seed oil, right? Okay, yeah, it is the seeds that go in here. It makes the plant oil in the squeezers. So input nodes right there, and then we're just going to put output node setting, output node setting right here, and then an output node setting right, there we go, right there, and that's going to feed into the industrial squeezer. And we are going to have to whitelist these because I'm going to have potatoes going through as well, and I believe technically potatoes can get dropped into here. They just can't do anything. Now I'm stuck with a potato. Now I actually don't have to whitelist the input because all that's there is seeds, and that's all that will ever be there. So we're just gonna whitelist the outputs, and this is on the west side. Let's go ahead, add industrial hemp seeds and industrial hemp seed. Whoops, west side industrial hemp seeds. Yeah. Okay, and so that's gonna feed over into there, and then I do want to set up a new master routing node, and we're gonna set this guy. Whoops. We're gonna have this setting like right there. Will be fine. I actually love the way these nodes sitting around, the way they look. They're just great. They are just absolutely great. And then we'll connect this over, and then we'll connect it to the output, and we'll connect it to the, oh, it's these climbing claws is what it is, to the output. Okay, now if you notice, I mean, it's going to fill it up pretty quick. I love how fast these things run. And then it should start... Oh, I did potatoes, didn't I? No, okay, why is it not filtering? Maybe it wants a precise item filter. I'm gonna suppose that it does. So let's grab that. Let's grab these. I was thinking that would work now. Used to, you couldn't even put anything into filters unless you did a precise filter or something like that. I remember there was a time that was a thing. So I'm actually thinking that it's not filtering without a filter in it. Is what it seems like. So we're just going to add that in there. And then hopefully that's going to fix our problems. So now if I empty this out, there we go. It's starting to get industrial hemp, and it's going to start pressing that down into plant oil. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see potatoes in that. Now I'm stuck with all these potatoes. That's fine. I'll just manually throw them into the fermenters whenever we set those up. So we do have to have a filter in that. Okay, but you can see, I mean, these are quickly producing plant oil. And with both of these running, I mean, it's going to be producing a lot of plant oil. An absolute ton of it. Alright, and so then what I want to do, I've got some fluid pipes prepped right here. And we're just going to pump this out. And we're going to have to pump it into our tank that's setting up here. And I think what we're going to do, we're actually going to go behind this. Because I don't really want to use fluid nodes here, particularly. I want to use fluid pipes. So we're just going to connect these in right there. And we'll just bring it out and down right here. And then we're going to have the output, pump it out right there, and then bring it up. Connect that up. And we should see this is going to start draining faster than it's being created. And then when you do the same thing on the other side, I'm definitely going to have to make more fluid pipes. This is such an expensive setup. It really, really is. It's been fun time setting this up. Like, so much iron going into this. Okay, that one's plugged up, and it's starting to drain here as well. Okay, and it's going to automatically stop running whenever, basically whenever this thing gets filled and then these back up on fluid. It's going to stop consuming industrial hemp. And the way I've got this set up, you know, it's going to void the hemp fiber after it hits 1280, but it's going to stop whenever it fills up hemp seeds and potatoes. Because honestly, I've got so much hemp fiber here, I'm never going to be able to use this much. Ever. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about stockpiling any more than that. That should be good. Okay, so how much... I'll grab a bucket. We've got 42,000 and counting plant oil already. So it's really not going to take very long to fill up, I don't think. But it has drained these out, which is good. Okay, so now that plant oil is being generated, let's go ahead and switch over to the... We need to set up the fermenter, which is this stuff right here. And let me pull it up in the book so I can set it to the projector. Fermenter, and then craft that together with the projector. I had to make a new projector. I think my first projector actually got deleted when the toolbox purged all my stuff that was in it. And I didn't cheat another one whenever that happened, and so I just crafted it. It was just, it's easy. Okay, so we're going to put one right here, and this should be just the right amount of materials for all of these things. I hate the way cauldrons display like they're like 2D on these things. Okay, so there's the first one. And then we're going to come over here and set up another one on this other side over here. So many multi-blocks this episode that I've got to set up. Just so many multi-blocks in this like corner of the base in general. Alright, so there we go. Our very first industrial fermenters. And let me go ahead and clear that. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so these, of course, these run off of potatoes. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves a bunch of potatoes out of here, and let's just manually fill this to start with. And then we can get all this stuff plugged up. There we go. And then power, it's pretty much the same way. We are going to plug power in right there, and power in right there. Connect that to that, that to that. And it should start, yeah, it takes a second for the power to recognize like a new connection. Ooh, it is kind of struggling, isn't it? I think it's just the MV line in general is going to have some troubles right here. Yeah, I'm going to have to upgrade it to HV. That's fine. Because basically there's just too much load coming through here, especially whenever I plug up the refinery. It's just too much. So, but that's fine because I can just remove this, convert it over to HV once we get these set up. It's not going to be a problem. Alright, so we're producing ethanol. And then what we're going to do, once again, is, let me grab the fluid pipes. I don't know why I put those up. And we're going to plug this up to our tank. And I think I'm just going to run it around behind this. Wow, I already need more pipes. I still have so much more to connect, and I already need more pipes. I think... no, I might have to press more iron real quick. I think I've got some made at least. No, I don't. Actually, I've got to cook more iron and then press it. Luckily, here soon... Ooh, this is really going to hit the power hard. Because, like, this is already draining. I imagine it's draining from the system pretty hard. Oh, wow. It is just nomming power right now. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to plug that up to the HV system. Not a problem, really. How much ethanol? Okay, let me grab my wire cutters here. And let me clip off that wire. We're going to stop feeding these power for just a minute, because otherwise it's going to be too much. And we'll get that iron grit smelting. I'm going to make some more plates and make some more pipes from it, and I'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, I got some more fluid pipes made. I've got more, more plates being made. But anyways, let's go ahead and plug this up. And we are going to hide this stuff with scaffolding. We'll get to that in just a second. And it's going to start pumping the ethanol out into our tank. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so now we're ready to set up our refineries. And then we can connect the power back up. Watch it struggle to run for a little bit. Honestly, I may have to cut the wires on like one of these temporarily or something. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so anyways, the refinery, let's go ahead and craft that together with our projector. And let's project this thing down. Now that's the front side. And so I think I'm going to put one right there facing off in this direction. The other one, I don't know if I'm going to have it face against the wall. Probably. I imagine so. And I've got all the items right here for this. Okay, so steel scaffolding. And we're going to go bam, bam. Right there. And we'll go ahead and put down the steel scaffolding on this one as well. Okay, and then light engineering blocks. Right there and there. Oh, wait. No, not. Oh, that's heavy engineering block. Yeah, we'll have this one face off against that wall, I do believe. And then we've got heavy engineering blocks that go there, there, and then we have, oh yeah, fluid pipes that run through the center. Okay, and then the next layer, we've got light engineering block there and there, heavy engineering block there, there, redstone engineering block there, and there. And then we're going to do iron sheet metal right there. I'm really close to that at the moment. And then more iron sheet metal on top, like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and we should be all set. So then... whoops. Let's, I think it's right here. Yeah, shift right click the heavy engineering block right there. Okay. And now we are all set. Both of our refineries are in place. And yeah, I think I'm just going to plug up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off, let's see, we'll pull off that. And then we're going to go ahead and pull off this, just temporary. And then we're going to plug up MV wire connector right there and connect that up to power right there. Okay. And then let's go ahead and pump fluids into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring fluids out right here. It's going to come out. It's going to go into... Will it connect right there? You can actually right click that. I'd rather it connect into that. It looks better. And then we'll right click there. And actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to not connect that one just yet. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Not connect the one that goes right there. Let's go ahead. Don't connect right there. Don't connect right there. And then we'll bring that through. And then I'm going to need a couple levers, because by default these tanks will not push their stuff into the pipes. But if they're given a redstone signal, they will push the fluids out automatically. So we'll just, let's see. Let's just put it right there and hit that lever, and it should start draining out and pumping into the refinery, which it is doing. Okay, beautiful. And it doesn't matter which side you feed in which fluid. It doesn't matter. So we can pump ethanol into the left side on both of these and so on. Okay, so this is filling up with plant oil and ethanol. And before I move on, I do want to go ahead and whitelist and set up the input for these. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple more of these precise filters. So right there, let's get that, 2 of those, and let me grab a potato. And then we're going to need output routing nodes, and we'll put one setting, I don't know if I want it right there or right there, probably on the back side. So we're going to put output node right there, and that is the east side. So let's go ahead and say east side is potato, and then east side is potato. Okay, so this, and then we just have to connect it up. So that connects to there, that connects to there, and that's going to fill up. Okay, beautiful. So potatoes are going in the fermenters, seeds are going into the squeezers, everything's beautiful. Now let's plug this up and let's actually produce ourselves a bit of biodiesel. So whenever we combine the ethanol and the plant oil, it's going to produce biodiesel for us. And it is producing. Awesome. Okay, so now the worst thing is we have to pump this out the front face of this. So I'm definitely going to need more fluid pipes, because I need to pump it from here all the way over to here. And I think what I'm going to do is bring it back like that. And then, let's see. Okay, let me go get some more fluid pipes real quick. Now we've actually got the fluid made that's going to be producing all of our power. So we can start producing some legitimate power now. Alright, so how are we doing on biodiesel? Do we have quite a bit? Yeah, it's about filled. Now it's filled. And ethanol is steadily building up. Plant oil, yeah, it's going to take a little while. I was about to say, well, plant oil is going to stop running in a second, but no, it's going to fill up this tank, so it's going to be a while before it stops. Which means this system is going to be so drained on power. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and clip this, because otherwise, I'm going to run out of power in my capacitors. I bet they're already like pretty drained just from trying to run all that. Not over here. It didn't drain that much, actually. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and plug it back up for right now. I think it'll be alright. We'll let that run. I mean, it's producing some ethanol and stuff, which is good. Okay, so we need to make sure that these don't connect up. I mean, I could use fluid routers and actually route the fluid. It can go right there, because this is going to be filled in from the outside. So we'll bring it down to right there. And then we'll just run this down along through here. And I don't know if I want to go underneath these. That is an option. But I would have to do steel scaffold, or some kind of scaffold to cover it. But I actually like the pipes being visible, so I don't know if I want to make them right here. If I want to make them visible or not. But I'm thinking no, because I already have pipes running out there, pipes running out there. I'd have to go over if I wanted them to be visible, and that would look kind of bad. So let's actually plan to go underneath. So let me grab my hammer. Let me right click. No, I want you to connect. Okay, I'll tell you what. It's a good time for our vegetable. For our vegetable, let's get in this thing. So it wants to connect to like everything possible. I guess it really doesn't matter, but I'd rather it not. And then we'll just connect that over like so. And then we got to do the same thing on this side, like that. And then bring it out on the front side right there. Okay, that should be good. Let's go ahead and park the vegetable and grab that. Okay, now what we need to do is we'll plug this up right here. So this is going to pull from the refinery, and then we're going to plug it up over here like that. And we should see biodiesel coming into the tank. Yeah, it's starting to fill up. It's kind of hard to see, but if we take a look here, biodiesel's filling up in there. Awesome. Awesome stuff. And if we take a look, ethanol's about filled up. I mean, you can see how fast just one of these produces. It's very, very quick. And if we take a look over here, yeah, see, we've got a little bit of ethanol built up. It would be able to keep up. It's dropping, but that's just due to there's not a whole lot of power in this at the moment. But if I did have power, it should be keeping up, or roughly keeping up. And these things aren't going to be running 24/7, so it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so now that that stuff's done, let's go ahead and put away our routing nodes. We don't need those. And now we need all this stuff. This is the really expensive stuff. So 4 redstone engineering blocks, 24 steel scaffold, 20 fluid pipes, 52 heavy engineering blocks. Those were terrible. 16 generator blocks also were not fun to make because these things are semi-expensive. Especially when making them in bulk. And then radiator blocks, which really aren't that bad to make. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this up in our handy dandy notebook. Power wires, diesel generator. We are going to make a lightning rod later on too. So, and we can force thunderstorms with blood magic. So also a really good power source. Not going to be one of my main ones, but I'll have it plugged up just because. You know, I don't normally do lightning rods, but they're a lot of fun. So I'm going to set one up in this series. Okay, so redstone engineering block. We basically just need to make sure that this is the front. Okay, so and then yeah, the power comes out right there. That'll be fine. Fluid comes in right there. Is that how I want to set it up? It would actually be a little bit more convenient if this was the side that faces us. In truth, it would be a whole lot more convenient. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter because I can run fluid out right there, run it over, and then run it through right there, and that should be fine. Yeah, I want that side to face us. It's gonna look a little bit cooler. This side is like the exhaust. I don't really want that facing out into the where you walk. So it's gonna be a little bit less convenient, but that's okay. So let's rotate this. That should be the side that we want, right? Yeah, it's gonna be the side with those. Okay, beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and right-click that in. And let's go ahead. We're gonna build all 4 of these at the same time once again. So steel scaffolds go right there, right here. I have to say this is the first time that I've ever made more than like 1 engine at a time. And making 4 of them, this was an adventure to say the least. I mean, this was crazy expensive. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Never want to do it again. Okay, and I think that these just go straight up, right? So like 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 layers. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just build these up, just so I can get this item out of my inventory. Okay, so there we go. And then we are going to need to do the generator blocks. These come up and then they go like that, right? It's only 4 of these that we have. So I'm gonna go ahead and place these out as well. Just makes it a little bit quicker. And then we are going to have fluid pipes. Lots and lots of fluid pipes. So fluid pipe, and then we need 3 that run down through the center. I'll go ahead and do the center ones first, then I'll do the ones at the end. And I've got to work on like little things here, like lighting and just some like clutter detail. But honestly, this area is like nearly done. I've got to put something in that corner. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to put in that corner in truth. If anything, or just block it off or something. But this area, our little immersive engineering nook is like, it's coming together nicely. And then, yeah, it's gonna be great. And then I've got to clean up that room over there, and then we get to start working in that section back over there. That over there is just gonna be fluids along that wall. This is a lot of like fluid floor. in truth. Okay, so redstone engineering block there. I kind of wish you could like switch these over. Doesn't really matter because we're not really going to be using these. You can toggle them on and off, but that's one of the nice things about using fluid power over like a solid base power, is they shut themselves off. When they don't need to use the fluid, they don't use the fluid, you know? So, I mean, they're kind of annoying to listen to because they're like, whenever they keep shutting themselves off, but, I mean, I don't mind the sounds. I like the sounds of machines running in like a machine type area. So, yeah. But if worse comes to worse, I can always put a muffler on it. Okay, so engineer's hammer, right click there, right click there, right click there, and right click there. Man, that was expensive. Okay, we can see this here, and I'm gonna have to hide that. What do you know? I'm one smooth ferricle light short. Of course I am. Of course I am. That's just great. Okay, so we've got biodiesel. Oh, we've got quite a bit of biodiesel already. 168,000 millibuckets. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug this thing up. We're going to do fluid pipe. We'll have fluid pipes running right through here and just straight on back. And then we're going to have come over to these, and we're going to have fluid pipes coming through right here because it can input on both sides. And honestly, one fluid pipe should be strong enough to move enough a liquid for two of them, I should think. Okay, we're going to plug this one up right here, and we'll just bring it out and connect it over like so, and then this one is going to plug directly into this tank like so. Okay, and now all I have to do is flip the lever and it'll be ready. It'll be producing power. So what we're going to do is we're going to change all this over from MV to HV. Now, not all of it, like basically the cloches, the squeezer, the mixer, and this room here are all going to run off of our MV power line. Now, I mean, I could upscale it through a transformer or downscale it through a transformer and make it, you know, all run through the same line. But I think I like the passive system that's over there kind of running all this stuff. I mean, this is all manual. Eventually these will be automated with our AE, ME, refined storage, whatever system we end up doing. But for right now and for a good while, they're not going to be automated. So it's not going to be a problem. So what we're going to do is let's actually pull off. This is going to be changed over to HV. This is one of the machines that is going to be HV. So we'll go ahead and snip that off. This isn't currently plugged up. I tell you what, I'm actually going to shift some of this around here. Let's set up a... Let's grab that. Let's grab that too. Let's put our MV relay right there, and we'll just run this over like so. Connect that over to there. Ah. It's about to get really dangerous because when we start plugging up HV hurts. So I'm going to plug up the power before I turn on the power. Because I don't really want to be touching that. Okay, and then we're going to run this over. We'll do a relay right there. Connect that to that. And then we're going to connect this just so that we have power in this. I'm not using it right now, but we will once we get into flamethrowers. We're going to get into flamethrowers and start burning things. Okay, so there's power in that. Just because I hadn't plugged that up yet. Okay, so now we get to start plugging this stuff up into HV and getting rid of all this MV stuff. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and pull off that. I'm going to pull off that. I'm going to pull off that. I'm going to pull off this, and this. I've got enough biodiesel right now to get started, so it's not going to be a problem. Yeah, about a fourth of a tank. It's quite a bit of biodiesel in truth. Yeah, I mean, 4 engines is going to run through it pretty quick, but at the same time I'm going to be producing 2 times the ethanol, 2 times the plant oil, 2 times the biodiesel, and should be able to run 4 engines, no problem. The moment we've all been waiting for. So HV capacitors, I did go ahead and make some of those. We're going to make a nice power bank to go along with this. And then I've got relays. These are actually made with insulating glass. It's not terribly expensive. Okay, so HV wire connectors. Let's go ahead. We're going to plug up our fermenters. And this fermenter, and then our refineries and our squeezers, and then also the arc furnace that's way over here, because it just, I mean, we're not going to be able to run more than like one item at a time with our current stuff. So I definitely want to upgrade the power on that. Now, I can't remember exactly how much power this transfers. I know it transfers a lot, but exactly how much? Okay, each connector has an input value of 4,096, and it has a maximum transfer rate, 32,768. Awesome. That's what we want to see. Okay, so 4096, 4 times the MV. So we're going to do actually 3 HV connectors on the back of this. That's for full power, so we can have we can have maximum power running through this arc furnace. 4,096 on that. That'll be good. Because it does, whenever you start running 16, or was it 16 or 12? 12 items at a time, it does use a lot of power. It really, really does. So we definitely want, and especially when you start running like alloys and things like that. I mean, if you're doing like glass, with our current power setup, I can run 4 stacks of glass at a time and it doesn't drain the power at all. And a 5th stack drains it slightly, but not much, you know, because making glass is a whole lot cheaper than making alloys. Making steel, very expensive on power. So okay, so all of that's plugged up. Beautiful. And then we also have right here, we have the diesel generators. I can't remember exactly how much. I want to say that one connector actually works. Yeah, see, it's 4096 per tick that each of these generators makes. And so our basic wiring, if we just have one HV connection, that's perfect. I was thinking you only needed one for these. So we're going to go ahead and plug up HV wire connector there, and there. I don't really find a whole lot of use. I mean, unless you're just running cable somewhere else or something like that. Not a whole lot of use in having all 3 of those being used. But I will say, whenever we get to our next power system, we're going to be using like 6 connectors or something to each of them. It's crazy. Alright, so we should be all set on that end. I'm going to have to set up the power bank. We'll get to that in just a moment. But I am going to go ahead and plug this stuff up. We've got our HV relays right here. So what I want to do is we're going to put an HV relay setting like right there. And we're going to connect power down to that, power down to that. You can see it's not shocking me. There's no power running through this, so it's not going to electrocute me at the moment. And then we're going to run that up to there, and we will run this to there. And then we'll run this over and this over. Okay, beautiful. It's like a big octopus up here. Not quite. Only 6 legs at the moment, but even still. Alright, and then we'll just bring it back along through here. Do not want to touch this stuff. I promise. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Actually, I don't know if I want to, since I need to run it over to this arc furnace, and it kind of creates a little bit of an issue here. I know that this relay is going to be sitting like right there, because you can't put the relays between the wires. Used to you could, but the wires actually break like they're supposed to now. So we're going to set a relay up right there, and then we are going to connect it up to there. And then I'm going to have to bring it across, which creates a little bit of an issue because that would be floating, and I really don't want like floating relays. Actually, I'll tell you what, I might run it along the back edge here. So if we connected that, I don't think it's going to impact the wires. They cross in a way that I really don't like. Tell you what, I'm going to run it across like that, because I really don't want those crossing. Of course, a lot of this stuff you're actually not going to be able to see, but that'll be fine. And then we'll run it up like that, and then we can bring it. These can actually travel really, really far. So I can actually run this. I should be able to run this all the way across. These have, I can't remember the actual distance. The HV ones have like an extremely long distance that it can travel. I'm not sure the actual distance, but I want to say it's like 64 blocks or 32 blocks. It's pretty far, anyways, that it can travel. So if we do that, and then if I actually I'm just going to bring it down back through here because I really don't want a big wire that's going to be drooping going across that. And then we'll just bring this out to like there. We have to spend a little bit more on wiring to make it look nice, but then we'll bring it out like that. Okay. And that way all the wire is kind of cleaned up. And I actually don't need this. So there we go. So we'll have HV wire there. I wouldn't suggest stepping back here because you will die. It'll hurt really, really bad. So we're going to try not to mess with all that. But everything's in place. Everything's automated back there, so I really don't have to step back there. Or I shouldn't have to step back there for any purpose. Okay, so now let me make, really, really quick before I forget, let me go ahead and make a lever. And this lever is, I'm not going to pull it yet, but this lever is going to go on the biodiesel setup. I'm not going to activate this and start producing power until I'm ready for HV power. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to actually pull the power out of these, and we're going to feed them into a transformer bank. And there's actually going to be 2 transformer banks here. We're just going to be setting up the first one right now, and then I've got to make more HV capacitors. Fun, fun. So what I'm thinking is we are going to have, I'm going to put cobblestone down, and then if there's any blocks that are visible, I'll change it over. We're going to have the HV capacitor, we'll have one setting right here. And it's going to input from the top, and we are going to output in on all sides. And I don't think, does the HV capacitor have an input limit? I don't think that it does. Not 100% sure. So we'll see. We shall see how this goes. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to set this one as output on the bottom. And we're going to put that right there. And it's going to output out the bottom. And it's also going to output out these sides as well. And then we're going to have another one sitting on top of that. It's going to be output from the bottom. And these power banks are going to be a little bit overkill, but that's perfectly fine. And then this is going to be... Oh, do I want to make it go any higher? If I went any higher, it would be taller than the engine, but I've actually got space up here. So there we go. It's going to be 4 high. This one is going to be... The top one is going to be input on each side as well as the top. Is what we're going to do. And I'm going to go ahead and put HV wire connector setting right there. Right there. Right there. Right there. And honestly, that should be good. 4 connections. Should be fine. And that's mainly just because I can't remember if these are going to cap out. I want to say 4090. Yeah, it's going to be the connector feeding into it. It's going to be 4096 per side. So I'd like to have enough that all 4 engines can feed into one of these. So if, like, say this one's filled, then all 4 of them can dump all their power into this one if it's struggling, kind of a thing. Okay, so that's in place. And then we're going to do outputs on this one. It's going to be a big power bank. Way more than what we need. And then we're going to set this up. Inputs, inputs, input. And we'll have these setting right there. So they're going to be inputting from this side, this power bank side. And then we're going to do, they're going to be feeding into this side. And then we're going to do, I'm going to be out of HV capacitors. That's fine. I can make more of these later. Because like I said, this is only going to be one of them. I'm going to have another one sitting right here. So there's going to be like super power banks. That way we can pull out lots of energy at a time from these. Overkill, but so is having 4 engines, I guess. So it is what it is. And then we'll have one setting right there. Okay, that should be fine. Now the power's going to go, at first the power's going to go everywhere. So that's fine. That's okay. Okay, so we've got our HV connectors right there. Let's go ahead and connect this power up and over into this big mess. And so what I'm thinking is we're actually going to have a relay setting like right there, I think. And we'll have a relay setting right there. Right there. Just so they're all the same. And then right there. Because I think this, I should have tested it first, but I think this can actually connect over like that. Beautiful. This is a big power setup, isn't it? Like it's like a whole room going on over here. And then we'll connect this over, and that should be fine. If I was to, Ideally, I would actually cross through, like, right here, I guess. But I think I might have to be careful, because I might clip my head. Actually, it'd probably be better if I came around the back of it like this to the capacitor side, I guess. And then we'll connect that up like that. Okay, and then we can connect the relays, because all of these are going to fuse together to create like one input, and then we're going to plug it in, plug it in, plug it in, plug it in, like that. Okay. And now we have a super monster power bank. It's going to be pulling all the energies in. Okay. Yeah, I do think I'm going to have to watch my head when I go through here. One thing I could do right here, and what I'm probably going to do, is I could either bring this up or I could go under the floor. Either would be fine. So I think we'll go under the floor, so you actually walk in between these, and then I can do steel scaffolding. Let's actually go grab some scaffolds really, really quick. And we can chisel these, and we could make them into like that or that. I actually want the one that's not see-through, ideally. That has the wood on top. I actually quite like those. So let's take those. And we can just right-click that onto there, like so. The pipe's still going to connect, but it just looks a little bit better than having just pipes running to the floor. We'll also do the same thing on right up here to kind of hide that ceiling away. So maybe, you know, maybe have it like that. And it'll look a little bit better than having it visible. But yeah, let me go make some more steel scaffolding so we can get the rest of that cleaned up. I think I've actually got, yeah, I've got the stuff right here for it. Yeah, and then I'll have to build out around that, I think, just so it kind of blends in a little bit better. But that's not a problem. And then, yeah, I may build out around them. We'll see. Because I don't think I have any other... I don't think there's like a hempcrete scaffold. I don't see one, so... That would be ideal, but that's fine. Oh, there's a scaffold-covered ladder now. That's nifty, because I'm assuming that means you walk up, you climb up through the middle of it, I hope. I'm going to have to test that out. That's a new item, and I'm quite curious about it. Okay, so anyways, we've got that stuff kind of hidden away. I'll clean it up a little bit more here soon. And so what we're going to do is, let's go ahead actually and turn this power system on, I guess. Because as soon as this gets biodiesel, it's going to start producing power. It's going to start pumping power into this big monstrosity. So let's go ahead. There we go. Look at that. It's filling that one up at the moment. Yeah, it's focusing all of its power into that one. That's fine. So it's already gotten over 1 million. The HV capacitors can store 4 million in them. And you can hear what they sound like when they're running. It seems like there's 2 running at the moment. And it seems like these here are not running. And we're about to already fill our first HV capacitor. So I'm kind of curious to see which one it fills up next. I'm hoping it's like, yes, okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now what I want to do is, well, actually this one here, from this back side, I'm going to do blue, blue, blue. Is that how I want to do it? And then maybe do blue, blue, blue. Yeah, that'll work. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect up, I'm going to have to make some more of these, just aluminum and terracotta. Do I have any more terracotta around here? Okay, I'm actually out of terracotta. I'll have to go get some more here in just a second. But I want to get the ethanol and stuff production going. So that may just be the maximum that I can pump out or something. I don't know. But it shouldn't be. I mean, these shouldn't be running that much. Oh, it's filling up. Yeah, that one. Okay, that one's about filled. And then it's going to start filling up. Oh, I just touched it. It didn't kill me, so that's good. Now it's filling up that one. Okay, so we're going to do another HV wire connector setting right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a relay right there. And we're going to plug that power up. I'm not going to do that just yet. And then we're going to run this across. If I was to put this like right here, can I connect this over by chance? Ah, I can. Okay, awesome. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to run that up under the pipe there. And then we're going to run it to about right there. Keep these wires clean a little bit. And then over like that. And then if I connect, there we go. Actually turn that down just a little bit so it's not, I doubt it's going to come in that loud on the video, but just to make sure. And then we're going to plug this up and this up. I know not everybody shares my interest in hearing the machines actually running. So, alright, so this should be producing, oh wait, you know what? Those are set to input, aren't they? I didn't set them to actual output. So let's go ahead and change this. Orange sides. Orange, whoa, whoa. I wasn't even like touching it. How did that electrocute me? The world may never know. Okay, so that one's pulling power. I need to go over to this one. I really need to unequip my climbing claws right now. And we'll go ahead and activate that one. So it's going to be pumping out power. Okay, let me turn these guys off, actually. There we go. Okay, so if we take a look now, you can see that plant oil is being generated. Ethanol is being generated. Yeah, look at that. You can see it's actually generating faster than this refinery can use it. Now, I don't know if this refinery... Whoa. Man, if you get like anywhere near those, they electrocute you. Okay. Okay, this is going to be interesting. No, stop it. Okay, let me go around the backside here. This might be a little bit better. Well, I don't know, because I've got a wire right there that wants to electrocute me. Okay. This refinery is not presently obtaining liquid, but the thing is, this one should... Oh, you know what, though? Totally forgot I didn't finish plugging this up. Please don't electrocute me. No, stop it. Can actually come in through right here. This would have been a whole lot easier. Okay, so we'll plug that up. And now if we take a look, this refinery is filled up on plant oil, starting to get a little bit of ethanol. It's going to be producing some biofuel. If we take a look over here, this is currently drained out. Are those still not producing? But, I mean, it's still filling up capacitors. Like, I don't want to touch that, actually. If we take a look, I mean, it's almost filled out the second layer. And it's going to be working on the third layer and then filling up. I mean, look at that. It's capped. That one at the top is just, it's filled. So we're actually pumping in as much possible power. I mean, it could be that's why the engines, the diesel generators aren't on, is because that one's capped. I don't know. That could be the purpose. I mean, it might actually be sending fluid into these, but they just can't run. I don't know. Tell you what, let me actually break this off for just a minute. Yeah, see, I mean, they're still not running, even when that one's not sending fluid out that way. Still not sending fluid over to, or they're still not kicking on. I think it's just too much power. I'm going to let these run out the biodiesel that they've got. That's going to be filled so soon. And then it's going to fill up those two tanks, and then it's just going to stop. Because I didn't even see if they maybe kicked on before or not. I mean, these things run forever on the biodiesel that they've got. Okay, well, I'm going to let those run for just a minute. Now, I don't know if I want to set up maybe a breaker switch. Also what is that one thing called? There's a thing that lets you see how much power is transferring through a line. The current transformer. Yeah, this right here. I don't know if I want to set one of these up, because really it's only running the power system in the arc furnace. Maybe for some of the later stuff we might use that. Yeah, let me go make some more HV connectors, and we're going to set up a little breaker system. And that's basically just so that we can stop the flow of power from transferring down through there, and so we don't get electrocuted. In case I need to do anything back there. So, give me 1 second. Let me get that stuff made up real quick. Okay, yeah, these two engines just kicked on. By the way, whenever this one ran out of power, or ran out of biofuel, these two kicked on and started running through theirs. So they are getting fluid, it's just there's so much power coming into this one capacitor. I could put, relays, or maybe bring this up by one more and then have, more connections. Well, it's still going to have to feed down through that one, so... Really, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, because whenever we have the other capacitor bank, then we have like 2 engines feeding this capacitor bank, 2 engines feeding that capacitor bank. They can help each other out when needed. But I mean, these are going to stay pretty much filled, moving power as fast as possible. So I think it's going to work out pretty nicely. I mean, you can see this layer is already filled. It's currently filling the third layer at the moment. And I think this one over here is... Oh, it's not filled. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, this is going to be filled in no time though. So I'll go ahead and just plug that back up. Yeah, it's just, we just have too much power. It seems to prioritize these ones over these, strangely. Like, just plugging that one conduit up and feeding these with biofuel shuts these off and activates these. That's fine. Those will be the priority engines. These will be secondary engines. So, basically for that other capacitor bank. Okay, so I'll be back once I get that stuff together for the breaker. Okay, just a heads up, I did go ahead and connect this up. So we have 6 of these running through. It's way overkill, but that's fine. And so what we're going to do next, which I'm going to have to... I'm probably going to end up maybe doing like a... I don't know. Maybe a fence that kind of wraps around there, like, don't enter, and like cross through here, kind of a thing. But what I'm thinking is, because this is going to be live cable all the time. Like, all the time live cable. So what we're going to do is we are going to set up a breaker, and we're going to clip off this wire right here. For right now, I'm going to put a breaker switch, a redstone breaker setting right, and this wall may get, I may chisel and bit like the front plane of it, like this plane. That's how I'm going to do a lot of this interior stuff along through here. Just kind of chisel that back and then put a different block in there. But then what we're going to do is we're going to run our HV wire down through there, and then we're going to bring it back up. It's going to go right... No! Oh, God! Oh, man, that shouldn't... That's dangerous. Okay, let me get back down there. So much damage. So much damages. Okay, so then if we put this right here and we click it, you'll notice that it should shut off that power now. If I come around through here, yeah, see, I can touch this wire, and I should be able to touch all the wires throughout here. I can run around and play in the wires, and everything is okay. Honestly, having that breaker switch right there, whoop, I can't touch those. Those are still live wires. But everything over here I can touch. I mean, these I can kind of get between. I can do stuff. But this area right here is kind of a hub job and kind of hard to work in. So I do kind of have a little breaker switch back through here. I still need to be careful when I'm crossing through there. But then I can hit that. I hate that sound. Or whatever. But I can just come back here and I can hit that breaker. And then I can do whatever work I need to do over here in case I need to do something. Just kind of a little helpful thing. Just kind of a manual override. Yeah, look at all that. just multi-block machines for days through here. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, so let's now try out the new arc furnace. Okay, because we've got all this power. Let's see what it actually, how good it actually is. So let's grab ourselves lead. Because I need to make more HV capacitors, right? It takes lead blocks. So let's take 3 stacks of lead. And I'm going to just pow, pow, pow. And you'll notice, I mean, we're smelting up 12 pieces of lead per operation, and it's not even touching the power. 64,000, beautiful. And it's, I mean, honestly, it's not even going to be draining this system over here, I'm sure. It's probably not even going to be touching this system because it's just producing so much power. I mean, you could see that these are capped. Yeah, that would be the, well, I guess the input there. I mean, yeah, you can see these are showing drained, but they're not actually drained, you know. And it's, yeah, it's just bouncing back and forth there. Yeah, we're not even gonna be able to scratch that power. And look at all that biofuel already. It's crazy. It's so OP. And then later on, you know, we'll have that other capacitor bank, so we'll probably have all 4 engines running. You can see ethanol's building up. Plant oil is pretty much done. It's just about done. Biofuel's backed up in everything, so it's not even pulling ethanol and stuff anymore. It's still a little bit dangerous over here. I've tried to keep the wires put up, and I mean, it's fairly manageable, and if I need to come back here, I've always got that breaker switch I can just go hit. But ethanol's going up. Plant oil's pretty much done, more or less. Just pounding out a little bit more. It's basically just making the plant oil that it's using over here for the biofuel at the moment. So that ethanol is going to be maxed out in probably 5 or 10 minutes, chances are. And this right here, by the way, the breaker switch, you can actually just use the breaker switch itself because you can actually connect cables into this, but that's only for LV and MV. If you do HV, you have to use the redstone breaker, which has to have a redstone signal that powers it off and on. So, just a heads up on that. But yeah, you can see, yay! I'm playing in wires. I love it. So, I mean, I guess I could put the breaker switch, like, over here. So you can just maybe walk right through here and hit the breaker. That might be better. We'll put the redstone breaker right there instead. The breaker switch setting right there. I'm going to put scaffolding down right here. You know, I can do... I don't think I want that scaffolding. I'll probably use this scaffolding. So we can kind of hide it away back in there. But then if we connect this over, I think it'll be a little bit more manageable. If we put it right there. And then let's go ahead and flip that breaker off. Connect that up, and there we go. Now that wire right there is still live, as you can tell. But, there we go. Just a little bit easier because we can just kind of walk right through here, and there's the breaker. And, you know, I think it's a little bit better. And then it shuts off this whole side. So, and then what I can do is if I want to, I can put breakers on these, and it would power... Oops. If I put breakers on the side of these, I could go through and I could power them off. I might make breakers just to stick them on there, but probably not. I doubt it. Because then it would make it actually kind of hard to walk through here. So I'll probably just leave it as is. And in truth, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I guess I could put the breaker on top too. I mean, as long as it touches into this block, you could do that. So I can have a breaker right there, and you could just flip it right there. I don't know. I'll play around with it and see. But I'm pretty happy with this. And now, I mean, arc furnace is a beautiful thing. It's not trying to feed off of this like little measly MV power, and I can just smelt up lots of stuff. So I can actually start working on the smeltery room, setting up that arc furnace that's going to go up there. I already have the crusher built. I just have to set up the arc furnace, which means I need to get more steel going. But now I can make steel here, and it's going to be easy and fast and stuff, which is good. Let me grab a little bit of iron and toss that in too. And let's spread it around. There we go. That's so much better than smelting one or two at a time. So good. So good. Okay, so anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. We don't really have time to get into anything else, and I'm pretty happy with our progress today. This was so expensive. So expensive. I'm sure you guys know how expensive this was. If you've ever set up the diesel engines and stuff, you know it's really, really expensive. And to do 4 of them like that, it's very, very costly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out, and if you guys have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to get those answered for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. By the way, next episode we will be starting a few miscellaneous tasks. I want to go over this really, really quick. We're going to be doing a couple miscellaneous tasks, so we're going to start getting into that. Basically doing some stuff with some blood magic rituals, some stuff with some nodes, some automation type stuff. I'm expecting probably 1 to 2 episodes of that, just miscellaneous stuff. Before we then switch over, we're going to start getting into Steve's carts after that. Modular machines, and there's still BC pipes we haven't even got into and stuff. The windmill we still have to do, and ore excavation. We still haven't done that either. But we're going to do, after the miscellaneous tasks, we're going to hit Steve's carts, modular machines, and then we're going to hit our power system, and then probably start moving towards age 4, barring, you know, anything else coming up. But I am planning on hitting modular machines, Steve's carts, and that second power system before we hit age 4. So just a heads up. As well as some other things, some miscellaneous things, and little things like that. So next episode, we'll get into some of those miscellaneous tasks, like I said. Next episode, possibly another episode after that. It just depends. And I do want to... We're going to be doing, I know, organization stuff for the warehouse. So we have, like, auto-sorting started, which will be nice. So I can just dump everything in a chest and it goes where it needs to go, you know. I do want to get that in place next episode. Maybe automating some fluid. Also, the other wheel types and, you know, some little things like that I want to get into. And then I'd like to get the elevator system set up in the warehouse before too long, which it's going to be a different elevator system than the one we set up previously on camera, so I do want to cover that as well. So we'll get into all that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.